Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
2023, you guys, and I'm winging it. Hi, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. That's the website, the Dork Forest, if you like a determiner. Dorkforest.com also works. JackieCation.com has all of my stand-up information. Like, it has videos, it has pictures, it has links to this podcast and to my other podcast with Lori Kilmartin. It has a merch store that has Dork Forest t-shirts. It has all of my stand-up merch and all of my CDs and DVDs. So that's what you know about websites. There's an opportunity because we're in the new year here that you can donate to the Dork Forest. I don't have a Patreon. I don't have anything really set up, though I understand you can set up on PayPal a monthly if you wanted to. You could donate and be of to support the show. This is the 17th season, the 17th year I've been putting this stuff out. It's free, but if you have money and would like to throw me some money, boy, howdy. There's a PayPal. There is at my email address, actually, Jackie@JackieCation.com, which you can also email me and tell me how much you're enjoying the show. You can also do Venmo if you'd like, which is just Jackie Cation. No hyphen, all one word. Picture of this person, me, and then I think that's it. I think I have Zelle, but it's too complicated. Other than that, let's do the credits. Patrick Brady still in, fixing the audio all these years later. Give it up to Patrick Brady. That's what a lot of your donations support, by the way, because I like to share the wealth. And then Vilmos, he does the websites, and Mike Ruekberg wrote and sang that song, composed and sang that song with his wife now, Sarah. And at the end, he sings the Mexican hat dance, which is always fun. Anyway, I'm sure there's more to it. There's a band camp that has a bunch. It has like a stand-up storytelling album that was never released. It's there's also a bunch of live episodes that many of them are free. There were 200 episodes that were not pre-recorded, and I sort of culled through those, and I pulled like 17 of the best ones. There's an album collection of that, 17 hours of Dork Forest. If you run through all of the episodes, go to bandcamp.com, Dork Forest, or Google those words, and you'll find it. Anyway, there's probably more. I can't remember any of it, but you're doing great. Feel free to enjoy the show. Hi, Jackie Cation here, crouched. It looks like I'm crouched in my garage, but no, I'm an adult lady. Anyway, welcome, Rangers of the Dork Forest, to another program of the Dork Forest. Today's guest, we met her co-host just weeks ago, talking about Korean dramas and dramedies, and it was a delight. But let us now welcome from Daily Tech News show, Sarah Lane. Welcome to the program, Sarah Lane.
Oh, thank you, Jackie. It's so nice to be here. And I've heard so many nice things about the show, not only from your audience, but from my colleague, Tom Merritt, who was a previous guest on the show and said, this is going to be so fun. So don't let me down, Jackie.
I know it, right? You would imagine. Get it together. But I will say this is that what I will say is that it's over almost immediately, because you're talking about things that you love. That's what the Dork Forest is. It's all about, yeah. So you talk, eventually the hour goes by and I say, well, it's been an hour. And you go, what? I didn't even get to the, year 2 of the Civil War or whatever it is you're doing. But we're going to hold that in background. Daily Tech News Show, if I remember correctly, from the Tom Merritt episode, has many different handles on the Instagram but it's a podcast. So it's where everybody can get a podcast, and it's every day.
That's right. So Monday through Friday, weekdays, we are live. We are a bunch of folks who now do a podcast who come from live television previously.
Oh, wow.
So myself, Tom, our producer, Roger Chang, and a host of other producers and guests all contribute to this living, breathing thing that we do every day because we all can't stop doing live technology news.
Right. And it's live. And how long is it? Is it like,
Well, it's
like radio?
It's 30. Yeah, it if you want to think about it in radio terms, it's 30 minutes. We do another 30 of like a little bit more off the cuff stuff for the next 30, for Patreon subscribers.
Right.
Which, of which they kind of keep us afloat.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I mean, it also can be, you could consume any show after the fact because it's also a podcast.
Right.
But
it's 30 minutes everywhere.
That's right.
And then an extra 30 on your Patreon.
Exactly. Right. So if you want to be part of the live experience, great, because that's what we're doing. That's what we're good at, we feel anyway. And if not, you catch us after the fact. In fact, we get emails from people all the time who are like, I know I'm like 4 weeks behind, but I loved that story you did on the drone thing, where we're like, oh, good feedback. But yeah, you are kind of behind.
Right.
Because but that's okay.
I do love, because it's the one thing we're good at. Feel free to tune into the live because this is what we're good at. That's hilarious.
It's nice to give people options, right? I mean, as a consumer of content, and we'll talk about this. I love live. I love on demand. I love binging over the weekend. Right. I think, the more choice you have, the better.
To quote Back to the Future, what's a rerun? Anyway, Sarah Lane. So on Instagram, I'm not. If you're a good presence on, I think on Twitter it was DTNS
show.
That's it.
Show. We're DTNS Pix PIX on Instagram.
That's right.
And then I'm Sarah with an HLANE, Sarah Lane on all
attainable goal to find Sarah Lane.
You cannot not find me.
Exactly.
So,
and if you're watching on
try
YouTube,
to stay away.
Try not to. She will rope you in. Anyway, so I was fascinated when I got your list of dorkdoms because you went show heavy, but it went very specific. So
I did
before and after shows. So kind of reality shows, but not all reality shows. Some of them are just like travel or HGTV kind of.
I feel like they're all reality shows. So like, do you want me to set this up? Like tell people like what, okay, here's what we're doing. So, when I knew I was coming on the podcast here, I was told, all right, well, think of, your dorkdom. And I was like, oh gosh, I could do so many things, but you have like a spreadsheet of what people have talked about before. So I was like, sure. Okay, well, let me try and do something different here. And I just wanted to keep it real. So my real true love, and what I would consider my dorkdom 100% is before and after shows. Now you might say, well, what does that mean? So some HGTV shows are, before and after a kitchen renovation. Or before and after your curb appeal in your front yard. Maybe you're selling your house. Maybe you're about to buy a house. The possibilities are endless. And there are a couple shows that these are HGTV specific, but like you can find this stuff on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. I mean, before and after stuff is, if you know what it is. Everybody knows.
People love it. They like to see what it was like before.
Because it's like, even if you don't like what it is after, you're like, ooh, interesting transition.
Right. It's all about change, you guys.
It's all about change.
And we get to watch it.
Okay. So the first television show in this genre that I love is this show called Down Home Fab. Now, Down Home Fab. This is an HGTV show, and it's all about, remodeling houses and, just kind of giving it like a Midwestern, but like fun new vibe. However, there's another little twist to the story. So a woman, there's a, a husband and wife. They're like, they kind of tag team, they
Sure.
come in and they, she says, I've got a vision. And he says, I'm going to do the demo, so like they're a great team.
What do you think about what do you think about the hiring of that? Do you think they get a deal if they're married?
Oh, I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Because you're
It's
like,
a low budget thing,
now we're
right?
rooting for them also,
Okay.
But so I
Okay.
watched a couple episodes and I was like, she is so familiar to me. Like, how do I know her? Do I know, like, have I met her? Like, and I finally realized she actually used to be on another reality show called Teen Mom on MTV, which is all about, well, I was about to say women, not women, teens who have babies. And have to deal with the, that's pretty difficult, right? To be like 16 and, having a baby.
And was our host of Down Home Fab a teen mom?
Yes, she was. But like on this show, they don't talk about it. But I was like, I know her somehow because I watch all reality shows ever. So finally, when I figured that out, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Okay. Wow. We have really transitioned. Like, homegirl left MTV. She's got a kid. She has a new husband. They've got kids of their own. They are designing people's houses. It's great.
That is great. Here's my question. Let's back up a little bit. So she has never mentioned, no one has ever mentioned, hey, she was on Teen Mom on MTV in the 90s.
No.
Is that what it was? Was Teen Mom in the 90s or early 2000s?
It wasn't even really that long ago. It was, yeah, let's call it mid-aughts.
Okay. So how old's the kid, do you think?
Well, the kid,
it's called Teen Mom, not teen abortion. So I assume she had the baby, right?
She had the baby.
There we
go. Although, well, depends on the situation. In this case, baby is now a teen. And there are other kids in the mix, but by all accounts, they're a very happy couple. They live in South Dakota.
Okay.
They are just, they are just
happy as clams.
Yeah. Happy as clams. They're cranking out all sorts of renovations for people. And it like the whole thing is like, we like, sort of like South Dakota glam, but we also like gold and black fireplaces and lots of wallpaper, and just stuff where you're like, oh, what's it gonna look like?
Right, so sort of cowboy, but also Saddam Hussein's
kind of cowboy. Yeah. It's like
it's
like modern cowboy glam, if that is a thing.
Well, so it is if they say so.
Love it so much. And honestly, like I wouldn't love it that much just because I'm like, oh, I recognize you from like a former reality show. It's that they do really good stuff. I mean, I've watched, I don't know, like 8 episodes now. And, it's centered around like, let's redo the kitchen and, make sure that this family of 10 like has a living room that works better for them, with the kids that are homeschooled. Like there are all these like complicated reasons why they have to do what they do.
Right, because
nice things.
Casting has to find an interesting house and an
interesting
pile of people, or make them somehow interesting.
Right. So like if I was like, hey, can you just like redo my sink? They'd be like, no. We're gonna like blow up your house.
Right. We're gonna remember Bar Rescue. Remember that show?
Yes.
There was a comedy club. There was a comedy club in Phoenix or Scottsdale, Arizona, that they did Bar Rescue to, and they literally ruined the audio system. It's the only thing that was really necessary for a comedy club, but they made the comedy club look great, except for the green room was actually a fishbowl where they put a bunch of glass so the audience could see you in the green room.
Oh,
it was like partying in an airport. Like you were, like it was Planet of the Apes. It was a little bit of like a zoo vibe. That club didn't stay open long because Bar Rescue ruined the acoustics. They
Oh, Bar Rescue. I hardly knew you. I actually had forgotten about Bar Rescue, but that was like that was a show that at the time I was like, I am in. Before and after. Give me
I
that.
sense that about you. What are the first names of these people from the Down Home Fab people?
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to look them up.
Oh, okay. Oh, you just know them as a couple.
Well, yeah, because
Right.
I don't
They
know.
probably don't say their names a lot. They're just
I
like,
mean,
well, Jerry's going to be over in the garage and he's going to turn it into a man cave.
so their names are Chelsea and Cole DeBeer.
Chelsea
And
Cole.
yes, so Chelsea is she's kind of the visionary. She kind of goes around and says, you know what I want to do? I want to take out this wall and we're gonna open up the kitchen. And everyone goes, oh, cool. I mean, this is all very, it's reality show
Staged.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's all, and then the husband goes, here's what I think we need to do. Like, we have to think about the foundation of this house,
Is
if you take out the wrong wall, and so there's all this stuff going on. But the finished product is always like, I feel so like it's like I feel the same way that I feel when like I make like a good meal for a couple of friends and they say, I like this meal. Thank you, Sarah. And I'm like, I did it.
I am a chef. So here's my question. So there's a before and after, obviously. But what is, where, who, how, what are some favorite things that they've done? I guess that's me jumping ahead to some extent, but what, like if he's the guy who actually directs traffic and says, well, we're going to knock out this wall. I brought my tape measure with me. And she goes, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this wall into a fish tank, but a low, like a shelf, like a pony sized, right? So a horse could look over it kind of wall. I think they're called pony walls. Why do I know that? I have a podcast called the Dork Forest. What are some cool things that they've done?
Okay,
and
so
have they broken it? Have they sometimes?
So here's one example. Like, so they had a couple who had a perfectly lovely house. And this is again, it's in South Dakota. I've never been to the state, so I don't know, if there is a, kind of 90s era way to style a house that I've never seen before, but they talk about this a lot because it's fairly regional, right?
Are they in Sioux Falls or Rapid City? Do you know?
They're in Sioux Falls.
They're in
Sioux Falls, and people who are in town proper or on farms near town. And there was one couple, and you kind of like, they give you a tour before, like, here's what we like about the house and here's what we would like to change about the house. And you walk through it and you're like, what's wrong with the house? House is fine. Like, sure, the kitchen's like kind of weird, but like, is it really that weird? I mean, here I'm sort of a broke renter where I'm like, you just you just live where
indoors.
You live.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Roof over your head. Do not complain.
Yeah.
Pay your rent. But then it's like, okay, and we have, let's say, a budget of like $65,000. We're like, wow, who has that to spend? But okay, all right,
okay,
let's do some reno. So they come in and they're sort of like, all right, this kitchen is really weird. It's like a centerpiece of like the living room and dining room. Like, the kitchen should not be in the middle because it like makes it hard for everybody to like walk through the house. The kitchen should be on the side. Exactly. Yeah. So you have like, let's figure out how to make the kitchen bigger. Also on the side, we're probably going to have to like take out some walls. But then all of a sudden you've got this big grand room, which is like the whole thing that everybody wants now, right? It's like, you want the kitchen with the,
that bleeds into the dining room,
the island. Yeah, like you don't want like to be in the kitchen being like, where's everybody? I'm over here by myself, So that was like a really good one. And what's funny too is, so my mom and I, we love these things.
Okay.
And my mom goes, well, they know what's going on beforehand. The reveal is like, that's all, pomp and circumstance. And I'm like,
You're right.
I don't know, Mom. I mean, sometimes they seem pretty excited. Like, I'm not sure they saw their new kitchen before this very moment.
Are they ever disappointed? Are they ever freaked out?
No.
That's not what the show's about. That's not what the show's.
I think if they were, the producers would say, well, we helped you out on the money for this. So like, let's do it again and seem a little bit more excited. But like most of the time, the people are just like, wow, I can't believe this is my house. And it's just like, it's like Publishers Clearinghouse kind of situation.
Okay.
Where like people are so excited.
Sarah
and so
Lane,
I'm excited.
Yes. Yeah. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Northern California, in a small town called Sebastopol, which is about an hour north of San Francisco.
Okay, because
it's a wine country.
My husband grew up in a non-wine country town, sort of northeast of San Francisco called Oroville.
Oroville?
Yes, it has a dam that almost broke a couple of years ago.
Is this like a Stockton, Modesto area?
No, Chico.
Okay,
Yuba City. So there's meth labs, but there's also Little League parks, So it's got everything going for it.
Oh, girl, I got my first tattoo at Chico State. So I know it.
You know Chico.
I know it. I know the area.
Yeah. So I kind of literally, we are cruising through. You have 6 of these things. What is no demo Remo? What?
So it's no demo Reno. So okay. So this is, we don't have to like go on and on about this, but this is another before and after house renovation show. However, this one is kind of fun because first of all, it's all houses in the Dallas, Texas area. Which I mean, I've been to Dallas, but like I don't really know. Like I don't know the suburbs.
There's like
of Dallas.
8 million people too.
Right. And like all the houses are so big, where you're just like, oh my God. But the whole idea behind the show is like, we're going to transform your house without taking out any walls, meaning no demolition.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's like, oh, you like, do you want to just like wake up with a new house tomorrow? We're going to do this, but we're not going to do like crazy reno.
Right, we're just going to paint things maybe.
We're going to paint things. We're going to, like put like different vases on different tables.
Do you ever do recessed lighting? A lot of people enjoy some recessed lighting.
Yes. And sometimes they take out the recessed lighting because they're like, you know what? It actually, like there's too much like above stuff, it's kind of like screwing up your vibe when you're watching TV. So we're going to change up the lighting and everyone's like, whoa, never even realized that was a option. We thought recessed lighting was like the best. Not true. Not always true.
We just put in recessed lighting in our house and it's brightened. It's certainly like this room is full of recessed lighting. And I
love a recessed light.
I'm enormously pale. I did a show last week in rural, so just outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And it's proudly conservative, this town, Hutchinson, Minnesota. And they were super whitey magoos to the point where I said, that they were translucent and they were mad that I used the word trans.
Oh, right. Where you're like, translucent. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I will say this here's, so what, I like the idea that they're just like, well, we're just, I would like a fresh painted coat on the inside of our house. Come on in, I say. Or you mean you're going to move everything out? You're going to redo the floors? You're going to paint the walls? You're going to maybe add a lamp?
Yeah, change, put some pictures on the walls and different. So here's the thing about this show. And it is hosted by, a very, she is like a, effervescent, like very like, we are going to sell your house, even if you're not selling it, but like she's bringing the noise.
Okay.
And a lot of it is it is kind of like not that crazy of remodeling again,
Okay.
because like, you kind of go like, all right, this kitchen sucks, so what do we do just to like make it better? But we're not
Right.
like
But we
doing
don't have
some
a,
like crazy demolition and like putting in new floors type thing.
I
And
don't know.
honestly, I feel like like the before and after, I'm like, she did a good job.
Yes, when we live in a house, the houses on the Monopoly board, we have that house. And so our kitchen is very small. And Andy, my husband, has always wanted to blow out a wall, make it a big area to dine in or something. And I'm like, I don't want to live like that for 6 months or however long it takes.
Right.
And so,
And it
and I did,
does.
and
Yeah.
I did hate the floor. The floor was from 1951, and it was all grout, and it was disgusting. So he designed. I said, I like the colors from Doris Day movies. Will you make a
What
cheap?
are those colors?
They're like primary colors, like blue and red and yellow,
Yellow.
and
Yeah.
then diamonds and a pattern. He did it, and then we hired a guy to cut out the shapes and lay the tile, and it just stays cleaner. But it changed the room. It really did. It brought kind of a Doris Day vibe to it.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that for you.
Right? Right?
And that's sort of the funny thing about it. Like, there are sometimes, because like I just love like, here's where we're starting and here's where we landed. And sometimes where people landed, I'm like, I would not want that kitchen. I would
Okay.
not want that living room. Like, it's too specific for me, but it's not for me. It's
Right.
just fun to see what you can do with a space.
Right. Yeah, that seems to be what you really like. You're like, what are you going to do with that room?
Yeah. Yeah, like just transform it. And
Right.
so that since we're talking about home renovation, listen, I'm not even a homeowner myself, so this is something that like I aspire to be a part of more later in life, but also before and after stuff that is problematic to an extent, but I still love is plastic surgery shows.
Oh God.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
that can I've seen it done well, but I once saw a woman who walked by me in Los Angeles, and I said, she looks like a really shitty version of Morgan Fairchild. And it was Morgan Fairchild.
Oh. Did you say that to her face?
Oh no, I don't know Morgan Fairchild. We were at a coffee shop.
You just
And,
thought it, and it was like, oh shoot. Okay,
Yeah.
so listen, I don't want to. I know that we are walking a line here, right? Okay. So let's walk it. I do not, condone, plastic surgery. Like, you may have to do it. You may not want to do it. You may, there might be medical reasons.
You're just watching a program. You're just watching a TV program.
I'm just watching a program. So this show called Botched on
Botched.
Which is ridiculous, because the two doctors, plastic surgeons, who are the hosts of this program, are also husbands of two Real Housewives. So one was from Beverly Hills, one was from Orange County. So that is neither here nor there, but just a little.
Oh, it's a fun fact. It's a fun fact.
Just a little background.
I'm surprised not from Teen Mom. Anyway.
Yeah, right. I know.
The dads from Teen Mom became plastic surgeons.
We're not far away from that. So the whole idea with Botched is that somebody comes to the doctors, and of course, reality TV. So, a lot of this is set up, but something is wrong. Like, hey, I was in an accident, and, here's why, my arm has never looked right, or
Okay.
some sort of a, yeah, and you can use your imagination. And
Yeah.
a lot of this is like, like nose, boobs, liposuction
the
kind of
things.
thing. But also like, ooh, you really, they've really been throwing a curveball here, with somebody who truly, is trying to get plastic surgery to, make themselves either feel like they used to feel before there was a traumatic event, or, after it's all very personal. And they do a really good job. And so like you have this like before and after, but you also have like these like cast of characters who they obviously like throw into the show just to like make it fun, where there's someone who's like, I am a triple F boob and I'd like to be triple G. And they're like, the surgeons are like, well, we can't do that or you'll die. And they're like, I want to do it anyway. And so
This seems more expensive than just killing myself. Let's do this.
yeah, like, just this is my thing, and then they like, talk amongst themselves and then go back and say, we're not going to do this for you because we just feel like you need to not do this. And
right.
we're surgeons, okay? We want to make the right decision. So that stuff is sort of silly.
Right. But there's two kinds of angles that they're doing here. They're the people that they turn down to give themselves a sense of humanity.
That's right.
And then there's the rest of the show where they're doing, here's what I will say about plastic surgery. We have a cleft palate in my family that is genetic, and my oldest brother had a cleft palate. My nephew had a cleft palate, and my brother was with a woman, very big hippie skippy lady. I don't know how serious she was, but she was like, I'm not going to get the surgery for his cleft palate. Oh. And my brother was like, we have to. This is not a decision to not, because then he won't be able to drink water. He won't be able to talk. I mean, it's actually physically, it's not good. So I have that's my first plastic surgery story. My second plastic surgery story. Sarah Lane, by the way, of the Daily Tech News Show. Here it is. Have you ever seen a Stockard Channing movie from the 70s called The Girl Most Likely To? It is about a supposedly ugly duckling in high school who people were mean to. She gets in a terrible car accident when she's in her early 20s. She gets plastic surgery, and she goes back and finds all the people that were mean in high school and kills them.
This is like pre-Grease, right?
Pre-Grease, Stockard Channing.
Oh, no, I have not seen this movie. I have to see it immediately as we stop recording.
As click. And, right. Speaking of stopping recording, we might have, and I believe we do, have an ad here. You guys look forward to it. Was there an ad? Did you enjoy it? Welcome back. I'm here with Sarah Lane from the Daily Tech News Show, and it's DTNS Pics on Instagram and correct, DTNS Show on the Twitter, and it's every day, Monday through Friday, probably over StreamYard or Twitch or something.
Well, we use StreamYard. We broadcast on Twitch, and then everything else
goes to Twitch.
Is on demand for anybody who wants to catch up at any time.
So go to the YouTube or the Vimeo or the website. Is there a DTNS? I don't think I asked Tom this. Is there a DTNS?
DailyTechNewsShow.com. That's where you can like figure out all the things that you can do in order to hang out with us live or, after the fact.
There you go. Now you know. So Botched, what we're talking Botched, which is a reality show about plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery. Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to say about Botched, or would you like to tell me about the Swan?
Okay. So all right. So Botched, funnily enough, like I have quite a few friends who are, they think I'm, my reality show stuff is like cray cray, where they're like, Sarah, how do you watch these shows? And I'm like, it's fascinating. I'm not even saying it's great, but it's fascinating. I love the before and after. So
Mhm.
you may recall, or you may not recall, a show called The Swan. This is like 2003 era.
Okay.
This is some time ago. The idea behind The Swan, it was a reality show about women. It was always women who have sort of like said, like, I'm ugly. I'm an ugly duckling. Fix me.
Right.
Fix my body. Fix
Right.
my face, fix everything.
Put me
And
through a
so
rock tumbler. Fix it. Yeah.
yeah, which is like, oh my God, like that show would never exist today. Are you kidding
Oh,
me?
the backlash would be incredible because they're clearly paying normal looking people to say, I don't feel good about myself, when we all don't feel sometimes good about ourselves, but don't point a camera at me. Anyway.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So this whole thing was like, it was like a da da da. Okay, our friend Lydia, has, it's time for her transformation, and like
Yep.
they've had plastic surgery, and like this is like very dramatic to the point where if this really were to happen, like you would have to be like, healing for the better part of, I don't know,
A
2-3
year.
months,
Yeah.
and so the
And
whole
your
idea is
family
like,
doesn't notice that you're not raising your 3 children while you are somewhere.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of implications there, but like the whole idea is that you have also not seen your new self as the swan. You're no longer the duckling, you're the swan. And so
Right.
like on this show, which is very much like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, like dun dun dun, like there's lots of overhead lights. The woman like looks at herself for the first time in the mirror and goes like, oh wow, look at me, and everybody claps because there's an audience. It
Uh-huh.
was quite awful, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know who watched that and said, you know what, I love this
Yeah.
for us. I
Right.
think we're really onto something here. Like, it was a bad situation. That said, because
That
of a
said.
before and after, I was interested in the after. So yeah.
So you have watched there's old episodes, right? It's not a new show. They have not rebooted.
Oh no,
the
no.
show.
Like
Okay.
I think there was just one season, and then like everyone was like, this is horrific. No
Yeah.
one can make more of these episodes, and that was the end of it.
I wonder if anyone, how sometimes they've done some reality shows and then they go back on it and they're like, 2 people killed themselves. And I wonder
Yes,
if that might
right.
have been like a thing with the Swan, because the Swan is very much you're right. You are not good looking. We're going to fix this. And then all of a sudden they remake you. I remember the first time someone put a lot of makeup on me, and because I desperately would like a team myself, except for that I let people like do my makeup. Like, obviously this is just I'm in my garage. But the
Me too.
right, exactly. But but I would just, and so much in college, there was somebody who put all this makeup on me, and she's like, we're going to get you laid, sister. And so,
And you're
it's
like,
19
is that how it works?
am I
Yeah.
that person? I did not know I was that person. Oh, okay. And so it's 1984. Let's do this. Let's go out. And
Yeah.
it was pre-roofies, right? If somebody wanted to rape you, they had to knock you on the head. And what a weird clip that will make. Let that go viral, please. Anyway, so but the yeah, so we went out and I was like, am I supposed to have this much rouge? And like, it was super red lines of, I mean, they were other 18-year-olds doing my makeup. This wasn't professional makeup artists. So
Sure. Oh, well, first of all, I love that you call it rouge, because that means you're in my we probably were born pretty similar, you know.
It's called blush, right?
Yeah,
called,
it's called blush now, but like rouge. It's like, did you used to call it cream rinse before conditioner? Because if so, we're probably in the same generation.
I feel like the blow up doll behind you is my sister.
Everybody likes the blow up doll.
She seems very friendly.
She's, for any context, for anybody who's watching the video version of the show, everyone's always like, why do you have like what is that? And it's the Sarah Pinata. The Sarah Pinata is just my little friend who just hangs out with me when I do my various podcasts.
And she was made as a
pinata. Oh yeah.
That feels very much the Swan. I don't think that that's okay that you get to beat a girl to death and then
no. Here's the thing: the Sarah Pinata is not going to be a pinata hung from a tree at a kid's birthday party with candy coming out of her. She's just my little friend.
Well, no, you've saved Sarah the Pinata, quite honestly, from a fate worse than death.
Correct.
Which is to be a child's battering ram.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're really unpacking a lot today.
Yeah. You guys, we're getting to know Sarah Lane, you guys. We're getting to know her. First of all, she's got an H. Sarah with an H.
Sarah with an H.
All right. Yeah. I have, let's do this last one. And then I have, of course, a weird question about that I think will take up some time. But what is the Selling Sunset? What?
Okay. So Selling Sunset is a reality show before and after about a variety of how do I even describe these people? They're, people who work in real estate in Los Angeles who are selling big, cool properties. But they have to like figure out like what big, cool person is selling the property. What do we do to the property for the next big, cool person to buy the property so that it makes sense for the person selling it to get some money.
Right.
So, and it's all, sort of like, it's like, well, Jay-Z and Beyonce decided to sell their property. So, here's what we're going to do. And we've got a lot of interest, from, this, that, I don't know.
From billionaires.
Voice, like no one's actually doing this voice, but, but it's like millionaires selling to millionaires. Right. So it's really just kind of house porn.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But the whole thing about, the Selling Sunset crew, of which there are, I don't know, like 10 of them, is that like they're all dating each other, and there's strife, and so says, I can't believe you came in here and told them to do this to the kitchen because I wouldn't have said that. And so
it's that kind of reality show, but
it's
the blanket
manufactured drama.
But over that, is it actually like famous people's houses like Jay-Z and Beyonce?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. Or is it just like the best manager?
Sometimes it's just like, this is a $45 million house. And everyone's like, who's selling it? And it's like, a guy,
Dennis Miller's brother, who is the most expensive manager in the world.
Right.
Jimmy Miller.
Like a cool manager. You probably don't know him, but like he's really rich.
Right. He's Barry Manilow's agent.
Yeah.
And he has a gajillion dollars. Yeah.
There you go. And so you like look through the house and they're like, all right, so this whole, the front, the foyer area, like we have to just like totally redo it because it's like very dated, but like we're talking like, let's spend $50,000 on the new foyer type thing,
right?
Where
which
you're just
is
like
literally like 150 square feet,
right? Yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah. Right. Anyway, this is escapism.
It's finest.
If I haven't made
some
that
people love
clear,
the Food Network. You enjoy
exactly, yeah, like Food Network stuff. Like I can't handle it because I'm just like now I'm hungry and I don't like it. But like anything before and after, whether it's home renos or people renos, I am
Sure.
in. Yeah.
Okay. So like something like the lifestyle of the rich and famous. Remember that old chestnut?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
show me your yacht. I am in.
right. So you're like, this is not a before and after, but I will do some like rich people porn. It is interesting to see like how
I will, but like I want it to like I want someone to say, okay, this is cool and you're like very wealthy, but here's how we're going to make it better. I
right,
really do
or
want the before and after aspect of it. Otherwise, I'm just like, okay,
all right.
whatever. Yeah,
It's
like who cares?
just trying to stop the voices. Sure, you're just watching television. And right. So, but here what are the reality the before and afters that you haven't seen that have come like is there a reality show in you that you you're like, why haven't they ever done this? Those tiny homes. I want them to make a tiny home that is actually a TARDIS and that looks bigger on the inside. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, so I mentioned that I live in a tiny home.
You have you rent.
Even if I'm a renter, I'm doing okay, guys, but let's keep it real. I currently live in a 550 square foot apartment in the woods. So it's beautiful. It's under the redwoods. Love it, love it, love it. But it's very specific. You don't get things like this in a city. And I'm actually more of a city person.
Okay.
To keep it real. Like I love LA, I love San Francisco, I love New York, I love Paris, I love Amsterdam. Like I like cities.
Holy smokes, those are amazingly large cities for someone who
and
lives
also
in the woods.
very expensive. I know.
Yeah, they're all pretty. Yeah.
Like,
but you're not dashing off to Seattle, which is a perfectly nice city. And would you ever move?
Love Seattle. Love
Seattle's
Seattle.
Nice.
But
yeah.
But I kind of everybody's got their thing.
Yeah.
So I would love very much to be in a situation at some point where I could say, all right, no demo reno, come on over and tell me how to make this kitchen better.
Oh my gosh. So you would do that. You would do a reality show where
Absolutely.
you had a property and you're like, I want you to either fix it, ruin it, make it different, and see what you would do with this space.
Very much. I mean, I think I have a lot of skills.
Yeah.
Interior and exterior decorating, not really my strong suit.
Oh, interesting.
Like I don't see it the way other people see it. So like, why not?
Right. I mean, that's the whole thing is you have to have an eye for this thing. But it's interesting that how much you love it because you're like, that's kind of great because I would look at it and go, I would never have thought of doing that. And
totally. Yeah.
Whether
that's the fun.
Okay. Whether or not I would want to live in that space doesn't matter. Because I'd be like, I would never do that, and that's a terrible idea. Or I would never do that, and look what you did. That looks amazing. I would love that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, when it comes to plastic surgery, we'll tread a little more lightly, but yeah. Otherwise, take down that wall, make my kitchen fabulous.
Right. It's my mother-in-law now lives with us, and she is we have done several things. She was like, you guys need this, and I'm like, yeah, we've lived here almost 20 years. Do we? Okay, sure. And then we put in the thing, and it looks great. Like I like recessed lighting in the kitchen. She's like, why isn't there a light over the sink? And I was like, well, I just washed the dishes. I don't know. Do I need to?
Right.
And Andy, my husband, is like, yeah, you should probably get a better look at those dishes. And because he will sometimes pick up, not often, occasionally, Sarah Lane, he will pick up a dish and yell the word unclean. And then he will put it back on the other side of the sink. So now that it's
you're like,
lit,
oh, thank you for flagging that.
Right.
as an
I'm glad there's
unclean
quality
dish.
control on the going up into the
we
cabinet
couldn't
part
do
of
it
it.
without you, husband.
Yes. And we don't have, like, the house is so small, there's no room for like a dishwasher. And I've never enjoyed a dishwasher. It's kind of soothing for me to do dishes and laundry, which, by the way, everyone I live with, pretty psyched about those two things. Because they're like, yeah, great. That means I don't really have to do much dishes or laundry because you find some sort of peace in that.
I hear that, girl.
Yeah. Is there anything that that you find peace in? Because you got 10 minutes here. You could go anywhere, quite honestly.
Finding peace.
We don't have to
boy.
push it, but I'm just saying, this is your 10 minutes, Sarah.
Well, okay. Thank you for that. Living in my tiny home, also do not have a dishwasher. In fact, to the point where when I go to other people's houses and I'm like, oh, I was your guest, you made me dinner, let me do some, dishes, people are like, put the dishes in the dishwasher, Sarah. And I'm like, oh, I forgot that other people have these. I just, I don't have that option at home. Like,
yeah,
but also it's like kind of easier just to
wash
your dishes and then they're done. You don't have to think about it, pull them out later. Anyway.
Right. I always feel like you wash and then you put them in the dishwasher anyway. I don't know a lot about dishwashers, but it feels like
I mean, when I was a kid and my parents and I had a dishwasher, my mom would be like, you do not put dirty dishes in the dishwasher. You clean them and then you put them in the dishwasher. And I was like, but what are we doing?
But, well, I guess they're like 220 degrees, disinfecting them.
Right.
So that's
like,
what they're doing.
They will be that much cleaner, but like, my gosh.
It's just me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to eat more off of the same plates. So it's not that big of a deal. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, as far as the dorkdom goes, with our, few minutes left, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I've told you everything.
I think so. Here's my thing is, you will notice that I talked a lot during this episode, Sarah Lane, and it's because I tend to talk more when I want someone to actually be my friend. And so it was very, I was like, I have stories. Maybe she'll like me. Anyway, slow your roll-cation.
I like you.
Yeah,
I want you to like me too.
Yeah. And we did it. We did an episode of the Dork Forest. Sarah Lane, by the way, one of the hosts of the Daily Tech News Show, which is on every weekday, Monday through what time is it at the live stream?
1 p.m. East. God, what am I even saying? 1 p.m. Pacific.
1 p.m. Pacific each and every Monday through Friday. The Daily Tech News Show, and it's DTNS Show on Twitter and DTNS Pics on Instagram. Sarah Lane has an H in it. The Sarah does. Lane spelled like Lane. You can find her. And it's dailytechnewsshow.com, I bet, right? You said?
Indeed it is.
Thank you so much for doing the show, Sarah. This has been super fun.
Well, this has been super fun for me as well. And we are now friends. So let's hang.
Yes. And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?